So about 10 minutes ago, I set a fire at the front of the Corsair by shooting the radar component in the cockpit of the Corsair. And basically, I want to see how long it takes to just set everything on fire. It's pretty much what you saw in the ISC. So if you saw a load of stuff in the ISCs back in the day, it's pretty much the same. I'd say it looks good. So the flames are there, and it's also causing damage to the walls, like there's fire damage. It's not spreading that quickly, which probably is a balancing decision. It's quite slow spreading, but I want to see basically how long it takes for the whole ship to go. And earlier I did accidentally, I think if the power plant gets set on fire, the whole ship might blow up. Does fire clip through the cockpit? Oh yeah, I'll run outside. There's definitely an orange glow coming from the cockpit. Oh yeah, there is some clipping of flames coming the outside. Yeah, there's flames coming out the top of the cockpit. The balance of all this is going to be interesting. So I would say that my knowledge of fire, from any fire safety training I've ever done, is that fire moves pretty quickly. This isn't moving quickly. This is properly manageable. I could just whip out in fact, I'll pick up a fire extinguisher just for the sake of it. There's a few on the ship, not that many, but a few. The thing that I don't know if anybody else has mentioned is this is built on top of the Vulcan tech preview that we had not that long ago. So if I'll just step away from the fire a minute. If I go into the menu, go into the graphics settings, if you ever saw any of my videos talking about the changes to graphics settings in Vulcan, I'm playing on Vulcan here, but it's got all of the new graphics settings in. It's got the VRAM usage thing at the bottom, which has had a bit of an update. They've made it now to a nice graph. And so this in theory is a bit of an updated version of the engine, which has got all the graphics settings in, and then on top of that, they've put on the engineering stuff. So in terms of bugs, there's all sorts of things that could be happening or go wrong. The fire is not spreading to the habitation area of the Corsair. So it's basically just stopped. It's basically got stuck. So the cockpit is completely gone. It's completely on fire. The next section of the Corsair, which is the kind of turret section, that's completely on fire. But I can't see any visual effects that it's then moved down into the habitation area if you know your Corsair well. What's interesting, I was thinking about this a bit earlier. This almost, what they're dropping here is almost what other games, it's almost like a complete other game. So there's plenty of games that engineering is like the thing for the game. Spaceship engineering, there's other games, you can shout them out in chat. There's plenty of games where the whole game would basically be what they've just put in this patch. And so it is not surprising that it's gonna be a bit buggy. It's not surprising that it's going to take a while. The balancing of it is so complicated because there's so many ships. It's crazy. I've got myself a fire extinguisher there in the game. What I'll try to extinguish this little turret section that's fully on fire. It's actually quite effective. Oh, I mean, almost instantly, I can't see anything because it's really foggy, but I've almost instantly completely put the fire out, I think. In some ways, that's too easy, you might argue. Very smoky though, I can't see anything. It might reset fire because the cockpit's still on fire, but it's very smoky. Doing all that has made everything, it went out almost within 10 seconds. So I'd say that's probably too quick. I'll try, could be about to crash here. I've had a hard stutter. It may have crashed. Yeah, it's crashed. I'm currently in a combat mission with the Corsair. I'm letting the ship shoot me, although it's a cutter, so it's not gonna, maybe I'll turn my shields off and see what happens. Yeah, I'll turn the shields off because otherwise it's gonna take forever. Shields are off. So now, in theory, if he stops running away from me, if I take any damage, we'll see how significant engineering might be. I mean, again, this isn't like balanced for the full version of the game. This is going to take forever. This cutter, he's just tickling me and then running away. I'm going to just sit here and go to the engineering panel. Have I taken some damage? So components are taking damage. Problem detected 35 seconds ago. Power plant 1, problem detected. So not critical, but they are going yellow. And so my cooler is now 83.97% health. I can see bullets going through the ship. So you talk about the damage penetration. If you remember that, the UI pops up for the different components that are damaged, but it's not letting me repair for some reason. I can hear a fire. I can hear a fire in the cockpit, but I can't see a fire. I can hear the same effects that were there before. It's giving you updates on the screen. So power plant 1, problem detected. Power plant 2, problem detected. Cooler 1, cooler 2 has got a warning on. So if I click on it, engage with the engineering terminal, click start, and if I click on my items, I can get rid of all the other things. Yeah, they're taking damage. But so the thing what I'd say is they have taken damage. We're not in a particularly hard fight here because it's just against a cutter that's not even really trying to do anything. And I turned all my shields off. And he's been here for a while trying to damage me. Let me see if I can get to a harder fight. Let me see if I can blow this one up. I'll see if I can get a harder mission that might be a bit more challenging. Oh, that was a wave. Goodness, I didn't realize. Okay, well, maybe the next wave will prove a bit more of a challenge. Attacking coolers will be super strong. Yeah, so there will be a bit of a skill gap here where if you know the ships you're attacking and you know where their coolers are or certain components are, and you are actually able to target them if you're that skilled, then it is going to be an interesting thing. It's just going to be the time to disable that's going to be so important for this, because if it's too short or it's too long, the balancing is tricky. It's really hard. All right, it's another ship blown up. Turning off life support give you more power. Yeah, we can try that. Let's turn off. So if I go to my new diagnostics thing, I'll turn off the life support. So even from here, I can see that certain things are critical. Fuel system online. The coolers are taking quite a lot of damage. One of the coolers is down to 39% health. I'll be interested to see if it goes offline, can I repair it from... Oh yeah, so here's the other thing that we say. We were asking, can we repair in a multi-crew ship from the diagnostic screen? So one of my Badger repeaters needs to be repaired. So I can click on the diagnostic screen on the MFD. It's giving me a 20-second countdown. And so in theory, my gun that's been taken down will be back online in 8 seconds now. Yeah, I'm being tickled a bit more now by more ships. A prospect. So yeah, these. I mean, that is interesting. We're saying the damage that I've taken, considering the size of ships, it's pretty heavy. Yeah, my cooler is down at 20% health. One of them, I've got two, but the balancing of I've really not balanced the power very well either, because the gun's hardly firing. I haven't got enough power. The balancing of what you all want to prioritize, like shields versus weapons, that FTL gameplay that a lot of us quite like the idea of, that's going to be interesting, because it is unlike FTL where you can pause the game, work out what you want to do and then do it. You've got to do all this live in the middle of a battle. Our shields are back on now and I've taken a fair amount of damage, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can definitely hear the sound effects for a fire, but there is no fire. If we go back to the engineering screen now, Cooler 2 is now disabled. Fire is detected now. Where's the fire? So I click on the rooms. There's fire in engineering. Oh no! Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay, there's a fire, and that is the power plant is on fire. So I do need to do this, otherwise I'm going to blow up. Where's the thing? Something shut down. I think the ship shut down. Computer disabled. Let me grab a fire extinguisher quickly. There's one here by me. So now I'm basically blasting the components that are on fire with the thing, and they're out. So they're not. It doesn't take long. Everything is fine. It doesn't take long, but I can still hear it though. I'm sure there's fire somewhere in the ship that I can't see. But now, so that there's like burn marks all over the components. So it was what do we have? It was the cooler and it was the power plant. Cannot repair. I cannot repair the power plant. So I think now I'm dead. I'm stuck. And I've blown up. I've just blown up. In answer to the question then, how well tuned is it, or how intense is it? You got to say, it's quite intense. It didn't take a lot for me to get completely overwhelmed as a single person in the Corsair. And again, I wasn't really trying at the start. I was just letting them shoot me. But it was one, what did we say it was? One cutter. And I blew up. Critical power flight failure, I think. Yes. So the question of like the fire set, I don't know if it was the actual power plant that set on fire or if it was the thing above it, but it all set on fire. I put it out, but it was still all at 0, and sometimes you just get delayed explosions on you in SC anyway, just server stuff, I don't know. Yeah, I blew up. So I would say that, again, they probably want us to feel it at this point because it's a test. That was very time to kill, time to disable, time to damage components, I would say was tuned to be way too quick. Because if I was, say I imagine I was actually fighting a bigger ship, could a single shot from like a Polaris turret or a Idris, like what would they do? Would they completely disable a component straight away? Because they would have been size 1 weapons from the cutter and the Prospector, I imagine. They've probably got size 1 guns, and they very quickly disabled me. How long was that? That was less than like 10 minutes. Armor not in the build mainly. Yeah, so the armor stuff potentially is the thing. So we go back down to here. Ship armor is not in yet. It didn't make it in time. So potentially, when you get ship armor in, it completely changes the balance of everything. And so they may have just thrown it all in the build, all of this stuff, but because the ship armor isn't in, then it means balance. Again, we shouldn't expect this to be well balanced. That was never going to happen for a first tech preview test. It was never going to be like balanced as well as it comes into the game. But it's interesting that fire spreads quite slowly. The extinguisher is quite effective, quite quick to put out fire, but your component damage is pretty quick. And my power plant went into a critical state, I guess, there, that made the whole ship explode. So yes, interesting, very interesting. My guess for this, I think somebody said it a minute ago. Honestly, after seeing the playtest, I doubt it'll be this year or even halfway into next year. I would agree probably with that. I'd say there's no chance that it's going to get onto live servers this year. It's going to take ages. The question will be how long till we see the next version of this, because we potentially might see this. This probably is going up it's been up overnight, but then will get taken down. Will they take the feedback that they get from this and then quickly iterate on stuff and fix bugs and it comes back? Because when we first had tech previews, it was all the server meshing stuff. And sometimes we'd have a test and then it'd come back in a few months, or sometimes it'd be back the next week. The speed in which they iterate on this is going to be interesting to see. There's lots of good stuff, lots of questions, but it is exciting. But in its current tuning state, it's quite hard going. It's quite heavy. It's going to be interesting. Some people are going to love this, some people are going to hate it. But this is what they've said the game is going to be for a long time.